guys, welcome back to my garden. In today's video I have so much that I need to get done in my garden. You guys, I wanted to get this area planted up in the early spring so it could go ahead and start taking shape. But I was waiting on plants to come in, and then once the plants come in, I was just sidetracked by so many different other projects that I had going on. So now it's time to go ahead and get this area snapped up. The first thing I want to do is I want to show you guys these standard hydrangeas and what's going on with them. You're going to be shocked. Mouths are going to drop. So I'm forewarning you now. Let's go check it out. All of these three, they're doing okay. They need to be shifted a little bit, but that's more so a project that I'm going to do in the late fall. When they were planted, they were straight. Now, one of the things that you have to remember is these are in containers. The blooms were so heavy last season, they literally shifted the hydrangeas in their can. I had planned to come out in their dormant phase and get them shifted, but just one thing led to another. So I'm going to have to deal with them for this season, kind of shift it to the side, and then in the fall time I can come in and I can straighten everything out, and then they'll be perfect. Let me show you my headache, the one on the end. If you look and you see this standard hydrangea, now I came in quite some time ago and I trimmed all of this growth up on this tree. Let me show you guys what the top of this tree looks like. Look at this. Look at this. It is part of the game. So what we're going to do before it gets too hot, we're going to go in. Now I do have a replacement tree. I'm going to go in and we're going to get that planted up. We're going to swap this out. I've already went in and I've watered it in really deep, and now you see the leaves are starting to perk back up again, where before it was looking like really stressed. I have my Supertunia white and my Supertunia Priscilla. Now I know the Supertunia white had been struggling, so that's down here on this side. So let me go grab that. So I know I need at least 2 Supertunia white, so I'll grab 2 of those. And they don't look their best right now, but I know I can make these bounce back. All right, Supertunia Priscilla. Okay. All right. Oh, these had to be, oh, they wasn't getting watered. No. So one of the things that I found the biggest challenge in my garden, you know, you got to have plants in order to make content consistently. I am going to have to focus on getting a greenhouse somewhere on the property. Now, PDX Garden, an amazing gardener, has the most gorgeous greenhouse, you guys, and I just love his content. PDX Garden puts out a lot of content about vegetable gardening, and I just love, I could just sit there and look at his greenhouse all day. I love PDX. I just love him. He is just so amazing. But this is what we're going to have to do. we're gonna go ahead and make a run to the garden center because I want to get the urn planted up, because I really should have already, typically for my urn, I like to have all of my plants in place earlier in the season, earlier than later. But what threw me off is because we had that cold snap. As a result of the cold snap, I actually lost quite a bit of plants because of that quick fluctuation in temperatures, and then it stayed low for a long amount of time. Go ahead and run to the garden center. We'll come back, we'll plant that up. You guys, let me give you a reminder of what this area looked like last summer. I wanted to come and get in a bit of shade to show you guys what this Priscilla looks like. Let's get into that bloom. Okay, so I actually reached out quite some time ago, and I had been looking for Priscilla, so that's why I had not planted up my urn, because I knew in order to make my thing just go ahead and flow in my urn, I wanted to have purple and white, versus last year I went in with a pink and a chartreuse green for my urn last year. But this is what the Supertunia Priscilla is going to look like, and it's supposed to deadhead, you know, bury its dead blooms off, so you really should not have to go ahead and prune out much. But I am going to prune some of this back, and so this is what it looks like. So we'll see if that can, if those Priscillas that I have over there rebound, or if they're too far gone. You guys, I've brought plants back worse than that. So because it is a flat of 10, that's literally 10 plants, guys. That's why I am going to try to see if I can save that, because that's quite a bit of money. It's quite a big loss, and I have another place that I can actually put those in. I'm going to go ahead, drop everything in. Once I get them dropped in, then I'm going to go in and give them a haircut. So with all of my Supertunias, once I plant them up, whether or not I do it on the camera or off the camera, I will go in and I will just off some of the blooms like this right here. I'll just go ahead and cut that off. beautiful lilac bush, and I had the most amazing blooms this season, you guys. Like, one bloom was literally as big as my head, like literally. And I will put one up on the screen so you guys can see what my show looked like, and everything was glorious. But I actually should have came in maybe about a month ago. As soon as your lilacs get done blooming, you want to go in and you want to cut your lilacs back, then you want to fertilize. So you want to just follow the rules, what I like to say: bloom, prune, then fertilize. Because your lilacs, if you have a reblooming lilac, so it's a little bit different, but if you have an old-fashioned lilac, your blooms are going to be set as soon as it gets done blooming the spring of the previous year. So we're going to have to come in, we're going to have to cut off these seed pods, and then actually I'm going to do a little bit of trimming here to this lilac because, as you guys can see, it's overgrown. It's cutting into the way of the garage, so I am going to go back and trim that up as well. So here's the bloom. We'll turn it to the side so you guys can see. I missed my window, so more than likely I'm forfeiting blooms for next season. Seed pods have to go. Now, if you're not sure and you don't want to forfeit any of your bloom, what you can do is you can actually not prune anything back, and you'll be able to see where your lilac is going to put on the blooms for next season, so for 2022. But here's the thing, these seed pods, I don't want to keep them hanging around on my lilac. I'm okay with forfeiting blooms because sometimes I forfeit blooms anyways. I do that sometimes on hydrangeas and just different flowers. It just all depends on what's going on and what's the scenario, but I will sometimes forfeit blooms. And the safest thing that you guys can do is just come in about right here. Can you guys see that? Let's get in a little bit closer. And right below, I'm just going to make a cut. Right there. Can you guys see that? So this is literally all you're cutting out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for this lilac as well as the one beside it. You guys can see something has been burrowing through the wood, so I went ahead and I cut that stem off because all it had on there, and the rest of it was literally just a big stick. So I went ahead and I cut that off. I am going to lose this branch right here. If you guys see it, like, it's not really a lot going on with that, so I am going to go ahead and cut that off too. And it is going to make my specimen like really thin. I've been training this for quite some time. I am going to have to go ahead and treat for whatever is boring through there. This is literally like, look at that. Can you guys see that? That's some eggs. I can fuss with this lilac bush all day long. I can continue to go in and cut out the unwanted stems, branches that I don't want on the specimen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to shape this bush up. I'll definitely keep you guys updated to see if this is something that we're going to have to pull out. I'm going to have to look at what are my treatment options for this lilac. This lilac has been around for over a decade, so I'm going to have to see if it's worth me holding on to it, if it's something that I can actually push back into a healthy state. Even though it did give a show, I don't want anything that's boiling underneath, and I might just let it, you know, tell me how long it's going to stay around if it continues to live. Continue to treat it with what it needs to be treated. I'm going to go ahead and call the video quits for now. Let me know down in the comment box, because I would love to hear, how do you guys store your plants when you have not planted them yet? Do you guys kind of just put them up underneath a shady tree? Do you just kind of just let them sit out there, give them water once a day and let them fend for themselves? Either way, I would love to hear about it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.